sons in war, and everyone died trampled on the floor.
Good morning. So it's about 5:30 in the morning here, I think. I'm not the greatest sleeper, so I have to go to bed early, and I wake up really early. Some new people here. Those people over there, they're different to the ones that were here last night. I was really alarmed when they got here last night. It was about 6 four-wheel drives, just 6 young couples, and they just seemed to leave overnight. So it was the first couple of nights here was quite hard. It was the first night I had a crying baby, and the second day I did a video yesterday, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted. And I was sort of saying about how these young people up just over that van there, just loud music, and it was raining, and they still played loud music, and I don't know how it all ended up. But anyway, last night was a good night. Had lots of sleep, so I feel good today. Off down to town to get some ice. In any case, I'm through Exodus, and Exodus was an interesting book. So in the end, there was a lot of parallel I found to Revelation. So when God glorified the house of Israel time and time again in Exodus, he gave them great lands and great vast of lands and great wealth just by following his word. There's real parallels there to Revelation, I found. So when the Ark of the Covenant and sitting upon the altar and all that, and the candlesticks, and it just felt really Revelation-y to me, and so did Exodus 15. Exodus 15, the one that really threw me at the end there. I missed a couple of things with Exodus. So the verse I read out, it says on their right hand, and there's something to do with the crucifixion, that all of those on the right are going to heaven. They're Jesus' people, the sheep. And it's representative of the person that died next to him too, I think, on the right-hand side of the cross. And also the last verse there in Exodus, where it talks about the water and stuff, the trees, like I was all about the trees in my Christmas message this year, so I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe I missed that one. So after that, I skipped Leviticus, Deuteronomy and Numbers, and I went straight to Joshua. Joshua was interesting. I've read Joshua and I've started Judges now. So Joshua was just a sensational time for the Lord and Israel. All the land surrounding them feared them, because they knew it was the real God. They knew it was actually God. And God did massive things for the house of Israel. Great vast of land, great new wealth, and it was a wonderful time. But there was still a little bit of discontent there. I noticed right at the end here, there was a fella who was fat. Achan, was that him? Achan did something, didn't he? Yeah, he did something right at the end, and there was another one who plunged his sword into himself. A fat man. So there's still some discontent, but something that really got me with all this is that they seem to be fighting themselves, because the tribes were like the Canaanites and the Jebusites and all these ites that you hear over and over again. So they were fighting each other, it looks like to me, which is a bit confusing. So there appears to be, and I don't know whether it's representative of the current, the house of Israel is an ongoing thing, and it's a bit like the spiritual temple of Christ, maybe, because it appears to be there's one part of the house of Israel that's always true to God, and whether it's stripped by tribes or not, or whether it's one tribe, I'm not sure, but there seems to be one heart of it that's always good, and it's pulling the other line into line all the time. And that's what it seems to be happening here. So they fought each other, and they drove out the bad ones, and then the good ones replaced them, and they were vast. I don't know. Is that what's going on with the house of Israel? And if that's the case, well, it's the same state, isn't it? Is it? That's what was stated in the book of Acts, that God just waits for the house of Israel, which brings me, and still waiting to this day, which means there's a big thing going on with the house of Israel as well as the Gentiles, because God's waiting for them, the house of Israel, to repent after what happened at the cross, I think. But that leads me to another thing that I'm really, really confused about. is I haven't heard the word Jew yet. So I know I missed those 3 books. Was it in there? I don't know. Is it my Bible I'm reading? It's the King James. I'll go get it. It's a King James version, so it's not my Bible, is it? So you look at my Bible, and it's just a normal, it's a KJV. So, but I haven't heard the word Jew yet. So I'm just wondering who the Jews are, because they haven't arrived in my story yet. It's the house of Israel, I'm getting that, but I'm not seeing the word Jew, so I look forward to that little development dropping in at some point, and that might give me a better understanding of who the grand players are. But the Bible's taking shape for me now. I never quite knew it was like this. So what I can gather is the first sort of 4 books is about creation, the seed, the law, all that sort of thing. And then these middle books is more about the story about the faith of the children of Israel, their plight, their glorification in the eyes of God. And then the last ones, it looks like they're the prophecies, so that's warning Israel about what's going to happen at the time of Christ, I think. So it's really lit up for me, and it's something that I literally just can't put it down now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting a lot out of it now that I've seen a lot of things. I've read all that stuff on the covenant. Very interesting. So even just in that, one takeout was marriage. When they say they're marrying their daughters, it just means it's 2 brethren who've got similar philosophies, similar ideas, and want to walk with God. That's what that means with that. And all the covenants, it's all, so much of it now makes sense. I read it now, and all this stuff and all this background noise makes sense. I'm even starting to think that oxen and all that sort of stuff, they're like people. They're not actually animals. So that's sort of where I sit with all that at the moment. But anyway, we plough on. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. This link to water just keeps going, and you think back to Jacob and the well, and Jesus and the lady at the well. There's a massive link there to water. Huge. The whole thing's about water. Anyway, we keep going, we keep learning, and we keep being blown away.